Dare to dream, dare to excel, dare to be flamboyant. Pancheke Radio. Be flamboyant.
Welcome to TMI. It's another edition of it. I am Oluku Sayomi. Welcome, as I try not to say too often. The welcome part. Anyhow, it's time to join Mandy again. And we started, you know Mandy, don't you? We started talking about how she met Chidi. And I didn't get enough of that. There's a whole lot more to explore. By the way, TMI, if you're wondering what is Oluku Sayomi talking about, TMI is short for this marriage issue. It's the place where, yes, this is a place where we try to engage with people of all sorts, married, unmarried, single, mothers-in-law, fathers-in-law, and just talk about marriage as a whole from different perspectives. Mandy, welcome to TMI.
Thank you. Thanks, Miss. I appreciate it.
So we went with you the last time we were chatting. We went to the cinema with you and Chidi, and that was although we didn't get to see the cinema with you or the movie with you, at least we met Chidi. So between that point where you met, first the ice was broken. What happened between that point and when you realized that Chidi was the guy? Or should I even just rephrase this and say, how did you know that Chidi was the man for you?
It probably took about 2 or 3 months to figure that out. But let me get to where we started dating officially, and then we can go from there. Okay?
Right.
So basically, when we started so that first date was pretty cool. It was really nice. We hung out and we had a good time. Like I said, I didn't know how he felt about me. And even if he had any major feelings, or I did, for me, it wasn't concrete enough to be thinking anything, because one, I don't know what this person's interests are physically. Like, am I attracted to the person? I don't know if he eats people at night. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know if that was a good day, body odor wise, but the rest of his life is going to be, a punga or something, so I was careful about keeping my heart
distance
very careful, keeping myself and working on the friendship and getting to know him. I knew I liked him a bit. The things I did appreciate was that he was it seemed honest to a fault. It seemed like a nice guy. It seemed like a church-going guy. And I put seemed because I really didn't know him. I knew the phone version of him, but we were just getting to know the face-to-face, spend time, the real version of him, Some things at that time I prayed for were, just to know the truth about him, to know, somehow have an understanding of who he was, as best as I could. So the first thing I wanted to do was, one of the things I chose to do was to do it openly. And what I mean by that is that I think in past relationships, maybe I've been with smirky guys, or been over careful or over sensitive, or people that said, let's just see how this goes and keep things private. And in those kinds of privacies, I don't know whether we are famous people that we have to, be so careful.
Hide everything.
Yeah, in those spaces of privacies, a lot of things that I didn't want to happen happened. And I feel like those were because, or I was attached with people I didn't want to be, because I didn't put myself in a place where I was around my friends, people that knew me and who could say, Mandy, this guy's like this, or this guy's like that. Can't you see? You know what I mean? And I think I'm a very understanding person. And I think sometimes being understanding can make you feel like you're supposed to be open to everything. That's not the truth. You can understand, you can sympathize, empathize, care for people, you understand, but you don't have to bring an axe murderer to the dinner table, You just don't have to do that. So I have this friend that I always say to him that if you're going to sacrifice, like, oh, the person has certain qualities you don't, if you're going to sacrifice the fact that the person isn't pretty. You know what I mean? Let the person have a good heart or a good nature. Be the great kind of woman or man that you want to raise your children, rather than the person who was so hot, you just couldn't resist, and then have a crummy marriage, have a crummy relationship with your kids, or be explaining, that's how your mother is, but she loves you. So those are the kind of things that I think that sometimes we find ourselves sometimes knotted up with people that ideally, if you were around your friends or your family, you wouldn't be knotted up with them. And so this time when I was dating Chidi, I intentionally, one of our first dates was a friend's birthday, and I said, okay, let's go, and for some reason, I don't know why I separate my friends. I think, I'm not sure every friend can handle the other friend, but in this relationship, I know that there are certain things that were important to me. So let me start about what was important for me. One, he had to love God. I needed to see that he had some living relationship with God and a desire to know him more. He wasn't complacent about it. He needed to love people, because I'm always around people. I really enjoy being around people and talking to people. And there's one thing I didn't like. I didn't like sometimes when somebody gets married and maybe the person's a vivacious male or female, and all of a sudden they get married and they're, you're hanging at their house, and maybe girlfriends are out, you're doing a book club or something, and they get a phone call and they're like, he's almost 8, Yomi is coming home, you know how husbands are, and so if you don't mind, then so we can just round up, because so the person's afraid because they don't want their husband to come home and see that their friends at their house. I didn't be that person, hooked up with somebody that we don't click on certain levels. I didn't want my relationship with people to be a distraction, a confusion, a problem, and sometimes that's what it is. I didn't want to be that person. So I needed to find somebody that was like-minded in that area. And there was love God. Oh, and love me. I forgot.
Of course. That's a no-brainer.
So yeah, those are my main 3 top whatever. I used to have a lot more than that, but I streamlined drastically because that was what was really, really important for me. And so anyway, so we went out on this date with Chidi, and we went to, it was a birthday at a beach, and there were just bunches of different friends in that one. And he did not just feel comfortable in a corner, which I think that's what I did. He engaged, he was playing football, he was chilling, chatting with the guys, and all sorts. I think he got so close to one guy that I was like, what's happening with this guy relationship? I was like, now why? I mean, did you know him before? So that's how that date went. Also, so he invited me to go for dinner. It was a dinner. No, I think there were some office parties. There was a dinner with a colleague that was also like a friend or mentor person. So I got to know sort of a few of his people, the people that he was close to. So what was intriguing was that, and this getting to know and meeting friends and things, apparently one day one of the friends, well, how did he get in touch? Okay, no. So I was at a hangout thing, and a friend, one of his friends, when Chidi had left the table, engaged me and started talking about Chidi, but sort of like in the negative.
Oh.
And it was like a sly negative. It was like, Chidi always wants more than he can get. It was one of those weird.
What? Wow, hold on. We need to explore this. Now he knows that this friend knows that you're there with Chidi.
Yes.
And he's telling you this about Chidi.
Yes.
Is this friend a mutual friend, or you hadn't met him before?
No, I didn't know this guy before. I knew him through Chidi. Now, mind you, Chidi is also, so Chidi loves people so much that he makes me feel like I don't really care about them. That's how much Chidi's own apparently passes mine. And I did not know there were levels. There was another level. So when Chidi introduces me to people, Chidi's telling me everybody's his brother, his sister, and his mom. Chidi had like 5 moms. you know what I mean, like 7 sisters and like 8 brothers, And so the story isn't a perfect tale, and none of them are. In fact, they're perfectly imperfect, because some beauty in these imperfect parts and humanity and all kinds of stuff mixing in. So anyway, the guy's telling me how Chidi's eye is more than his pocket, that kind of thing. He will do anything for you. He was saying nice, he was seemingly nice. It was sort of like he's trying to hail me, but he's putting him down at the same time.
Why would anybody do that to somebody's date?
Because one of the guy was just funny. I felt
how did you feel when you heard that?
I felt like the guy was wondering what I was doing with Chidi.
With Chidi,
the kind of girl he felt like maybe this girl is a big girl and this small boy.
So he would say that to your face. He can't think that as a private thought.
Shoot, he was trying to burn cable in a very funny way.
Why?
Now, in him saying a lot of things, he said things that were maybe some of Chidi's not best qualities, but said things that he had already shared with me, And so Chidi was sharing a place with his cousin. His cousin was a female and had kids. The way the guy was talking, he was talking as if Chidi wasn't paying for where he was living. It was like Chidi was shacking up with him. And one of the weirdest things is the guy said that he told Chidi to go and get a face me, I face you. That is better than carry a girl to some other woman's house. That's what the guy said to me. And that, do you understand?
And so I get this right. So I see this picture plainly, Mandy. Yeah. Chidi had introduced this friend to you as a brother, apparently.
It's something like that, yeah. One of the important people. So one of the things that scared me. Okay, so when he said that, it was funny. So first of all, I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to any face me and face you, that's for sure. So face me and face you is the better option than living in an okay place and sharing an apartment with somebody.
I think that was the guy trying to scare you off, because he must have known that you wouldn't want to live in a place like that. So telling you that that's in the offing or possibly in the card, you probably just.
But he was also Chidi did not agree to the face me and face you. That's what he was complaining about. Okay. There was an issue. He was complaining about one car Chidi wanted to get versus an old car that the guy had, and
he wanted Chidi to buy.
He used to buy it, and so I was just like,
oh,
can you imagine? And I was just confused. So what scared me was that Chidi called this guy very important. It's possible that this person influences Chidi's ideas. This person can't influence Chidi's marriage with me. If this person is going to, this person cannot be in my own center or Gorishishi. Do you understand? As in, this guy cannot be in it.
Cannot be
important in my marriage. And I was a bit concerned about that. And I knew I couldn't tell Chidi because it would have hurt him very much. But but initially, actually, by the time I got home, I was like, I told my best friend, I said, girl, I don't know about this guy, see what his friend said, and she said to me, Mandy, the things the guy said are things you already know, and this is what you're praying for. You wanted to know certain things, and you wanted to know certain things, and he said things. And are there any of them that you didn't know about this guy? I said, no, there are none of them. Okay, but you were okay with him. So what's the difference? I said, is this guy, I don't want. He said, Mandy, but guy you're talking about, the main guy you're talking about, there's no issue with him. It's his friend you have an issue with. Do you understand? So don't just throw the baby with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, I was actually very impressed with my bestie. I was like, whoa,
how did you get so smart?
It's like I wanted to throw away and you want me well. So I was very excited about that, and we just say things, I'm not comfortable, or I said a few things but just made it very, very light and things like that. And once in a while we'd maybe still go out, spend time with them, but I was very cautious about access, to me or even to Chidi, but you can't control things or whatever, and anytime he shared what that guy said, I would just look very well inside it and say, baby, this, that, because the guy was just funny. He was just like straight up funny.
You're saying funny, I would say tactless. Had no tact whatsoever.
And he's telling me this, so because if I'm serious about this thing, that means I have to, embrace everything, this thing. And I don't know, this was the first day the guy met me, and he said all of this, he made comments about his wife. Even there are even stories he shared about himself that I didn't like this person
knowing.
One of the things he told me is that this is still in a weird way. It's like he's trying to, I don't know, he's explaining how maybe he had a few girlfriends before he got married, and he had to pick. And while he was dating me, he was trying to tell Chidi that, don't just stay in one place. So, that kind of, you need to, so you have a choice,
My jaw's on the floor.
Yes. And Chidi refused, and it's like, So, I mean, in the middle, like I said, he was saying some weird stuff, but he was also saying weird stuff about him because he was trying to explain how he was a badu, and it was weird. It was the weirdest thing.
I weirded out. I could just imagine being in your shoes at that point.
It was weird. It was just weird. It was weird because, how maybe God showed him he wasn't the one that had money, more money than him, that was showering him with this. It wasn't the one that bought him this, but he was the one from the village. In fact, as I'm saying it, I just feel like, Mandy, shut up. Enough said. But,
so let's just run away from this man
So that was like, whoa, kind of interesting. So anyway, all through this time we're going on dates and stuff, and we've gone to go watch a few movies, we had a couple dinners, and we've hung out, office stuff and things, and friends. So that was nice. People I knew him. They could ask me what's going on. I could say what my status is, where I was, just like everything was clear, everything was fresh. There was no funniness, there was no murkiness in it. There was no, and I've had a lot of these in the past. So it's like, this was like a breath of fresh air, and because we share the same faith, and we could talk about boundaries, and we could work on them. We could
by
say,
boundaries.
Hey,
what do you mean when you say boundaries?
So for instance, no sex before marriage was critical for me.
Right.
Been there and done that. Don't want to do that anymore. I want to, I remember at one point, when I even gave my life to Christ, I remember before I used to say, when I get married, I'll become a Christian. But I think after the first horrendous relationship, I said, how many frogs will I kiss before I say I want to, do you understand? Before I say I want to get, or become a Christian or whatever. So I was like, anyway, that was an old boy story. But many mistakes after. Anytime we want to do this, I want to do this right. This is important to me. Chidi said this is important to him, and it was cool.
Why be ordinary when you can be flamboyant? Pancheke Radio. Be flamboyant.
So we would go on our dates and stuff like that. Then things were getting like comfortable. We kind of knew we liked each other. Knew he liked me. I liked him. He'd say he cares about me. Just things like that. And I think one day he was just, sharing how he feels, and he really cares about me and all of that. I don't know if we had started dating. I don't think so. I think he said he loved me. And I was, what? I was like, no. Don't say. He said, I don't care. I know you don't want me to say this, but I do, and that's it. I don't care what you say. I love you, Mandy. This one, that one.
Aww.
And I know I want us to be in a relationship. I want this and that, but I know you're not ready. And I just looked at him like, huh? He's like, yeah, I know you're not ready. I mean, by your responses, by your reactions and stuff like that he knows I'm not ready. I'm like, really? How about you ask? Now, this is a big pet peeve for me. I don't know who told my beloved that he shouldn't be asking questions. You should rather just say what he thinks and leave it at that. Like, you could confirm what you're saying, rather than just say, oh, this is what I think and this is what it is. And so I said, babe, you could just ask and find out. He said, there's no need to ask. You already know. I said, okay now. So we're talking and everything. It was like at the end of a date, and he tried to like move in for a kiss. And I was like, I don't understand. Already, but you want to tease me.
Like, how do we write this down?
It's like, excuse me, since you know so much, you should also know that that's off limits. You understand? I don't kiss people I'm not dating. Forget that. And we can just forget that, because I what I was really trying to push was, Me, I was ready to date too. Me, I was ready for officialness. But since you are so sure, let's leave it now.
Oh.
I don't have to. I'm not. It's not by force. If you see, you know so much. Since until you learn, you learn. You understand? So it's like, please, bro. I don't. Where are you coming from? Come on, you keep that to yourself. Excuse me. So we ended that date and everything, and then there was this relationship thing they were doing at our church. Pretty awesome. Pastor Boju, let me talk about it before it happened. This is a relationship meeting, anything that they're gonna singles meeting. Sorry. Okay. And Pastor Boju, if you know him, is like full of wisdom. And I'd just been visiting because of Chidi. I'd been visiting the church, and I'd always actually been secretly going. It was really, really nice whenever I went to just regular services, but I'd never been to anything singles, anything. So I planned to go. Chidi was like, "Oh, he's going to, so let's go together." So he discussed that maybe I should come to his house. So I think it was the first time I was going to come over to his house. And I went over and, we're just chilling and talking normally and everything. And he just asked me to, I think he did one of those, I would really love to. I said, maybe, and then he asked me, would you be, like when they don't want to put in words? Well, he had to if he was going to.
Yeah.
So yeah, he put it in words, would you be my girlfriend or something like that. And I said yes or whatever. And that was our official day. Chidi has all the dates. If you talk to him, he has every single day. The day we met. The first day, that's all the dates. And it's his big pride. His big pride to just be calling out the dates. And we
so, but like, you decided, you had decided before that day that he was the guy.
I decided that he was definitely the guy. He was a good guy. Sorry. He was a good man. And he loved God, wanted to know God more. He was actively doing things. He would also ask for my help at certain times for certain things. I knew that he loved people. That was very, very clear. And I knew that he cared about me a lot. I knew that. Then when people have dreams, and somebody's like, "Oh, I want to hit my first 30 million by this time. I want to be a millionaire by that time." I asked him what his dream was, and his dream was to be a good father. That spoke volumes for me.
Boy!
It was left for me to start screaming and running, but I just had to play it because to be a good father, you must be a good husband.
Oh, yes.
You must be a provider. You must be, as in you want to be those things. That is, the person is going to work towards those things. It doesn't mean you'll be the greatest provider. It doesn't mean that you're not going to work on certain. Do you understand what I mean? But if that's a team, even heaven supports you on that. Do you understand what I mean? Like the other ones, are about other things. But being a good dad, you're a good example. You know what I mean? It meant so many things at once. Yet it was something and humble at the same time. It wasn't fickle. It wasn't something perishable. It was something that had feet and roots. It was deep, So when he said that, I mean, those are kind of things like, okay, this guy, quality, I could trust him. He would tell me things. He told me a lot of his secrets, some that were good, some that were, he told me things and I could also share with him, and he could handle my past. He could handle my mistakes. And so when I said yes at this point, I knew that this was a good person that I could marry. It's possibly that I could marry them. So after that period, like there are different stages of like knowing and being sure. After dating him for like 3 months or 2 months, I was like, let's do this, man. If he proposed, I could totally have said yes. Oh yeah. At this point, I had met different friends. I'd met family. I'd met his mom. And all of these relationships and different people I'd met and different experiences we had were not perfect. Some of the issues, we had little things, like he would find it hard to say sorry. Sometimes he would find it hard to say sorry, but if he was really, really sorry, then he would do stuff instead.
Right.
The words are also very important to me, and they're just little things. Time, he's not the greatest time management person, and I'm sure there are things about me also that he would share, that wasn't like the things that he loved about me. Yeah, so we weren't like perfect people, obviously, and we would have arguments about different things, and we struggled about our boundaries and stuff like that. Oh, I don't even know. Can I say this? Yeah, let me go ahead.
Right.
So we had this boundary, and now I don't know. So there's some things about Chidi that up to today, every now and then I ask him, was it really you? Was it true, or were you lying, or you're using stuff? Because some things, Chidi would sometimes be so innocent seeming, and I would just be like, my God, are you genuine? So I one of the things I think I chose this relationship, we would do the kissing thing. I actually didn't, in my mind, it's like, oh, I'd never do kissing. I wouldn't even kiss. That's how, But I like to kiss, So anyway, but I just noticed that as the when we kissed, the first few times we kissed, all of a sudden somebody's hands are on my boobs, and I was like, dude, and he's like, what? And I was like, what? This is the journey too, you understand? And so he didn't, I don't know whether he sees, but he didn't see sex as he didn't see touching boobs as an issue.
Right.
He didn't think that was a problem. He didn't even see it in the category of me. I would consider that a sin. I'd consider that being a problem. Personally, it's definitely on the way to a bigger problem, if that's that kind of thing. And so he's like, oh, I didn't know. Up to now, I asked him, oh, this is here, just using style,
Wow. Okay.
I didn't know that's a problem. I did not know it was bad. I thought it's like kissing. It's like, dude, you understand? So that, right. And so definitely there was a bit of struggle in that area, where we would both seriously like have times of where we would let the bar fall and stuff, and then we're like, okay, we need to stop this, we need to, and all of that. Yeah. But it was interesting because at some point we both got the picture, and we're like, you know what, none of that. Let's stay on the straight and narrow. Everything. There may have been a time where we were just doing pecs, funny enough. So we had this. It was definitely before we got married. We were definitely like very careful. And at some point it actually got easy. It got easy to just be and not be all handsy and
focus
stuff like
on
that.
The physical, yeah. Right.
Just to kind of just connect with the person, because one of the issues for me about the whole sexual part or being physical with somebody is that it is such a distraction. You can be connected to somebody sexually and not care for their mind or their heart, and want to break the relationship off. But because of that inclusion, not that it's so exciting, but it's almost like a commitment. You feel like, oh, now you have committed, so you might as well just commit. Kind of thing. So so there was parts of that, through the relationship, but it was awesome that we could actually get to a point where we're okay, we're cool. We can do this. We can actually do God's way as we know it, and be alive and live and still hang out with each other, and still, dating and everything, and and it's like we're going to do it too. It's like we're going to do it.
It's going to happen.
We're going to actually accomplish it, because from when we dated to when we got married was about a year and a few months. Right. From when we first got to know each other was like a year and 3 months. For this, from the day we met till, and like I said, she has the dates. I can ask him and give you. So,
wow.
Beautiful. Yeah, that was really like an awesome part of it. Was even just finding that we can do, like, God's way is possible, and God gives you strength and He gives you wisdom. He will put things in place and help you, create the boundaries that you need to. And this is something that I'd never fully been able to accomplish, I guess. I'd had definite years, 9 years, 4 years of celibacy and stuff. But depending on the kind of relationship that I start to get into, things would just spiral out of control, or, depending on what it was, and and all of that. So it was good.
So do you think that the fact that Chidi managed to be, in quote, on the same team with you as regards no sex before marriage, do you think that helped in any way to solidify your decision to go with him all the way?
100% critical, because I've dated other people that were Christians as well, but it's what you okay. So one of the things that conference that I said we both went to, the singles thing, one of the things they talked about was that I think there were 5 things you needed to be compatible. You needed to be compatible spiritually, and he explained that he said there are 5 things you needed to at least get 4 out of 5. I can't remember all of them. One of them was spiritually, and what he explained spiritual was not just Christian. It would be difficult if it's MFM and Baptist. You understand? It would be difficult if somebody's praying, tie down my husband's leg, and the other person is saying, how does it feel that you are? And do you understand? It's like, it would be different types, and please forgive me if you're in any category and I said it in the wrong way, but it would be difficult to so there are 5 different ways. I don't know if conflict was one of them. Like, you needed to, I can't remember. I know that maybe, education or knowledge. And it wasn't that university smarts versus street smarts. It was just more like smarts versus, so there's a way a street smart person is attractive to a person that's educated, and vice versa. So there was sort of like, you needed to be compatible on those kinds of levels and the ways you think, socially, it doesn't matter necessarily where your background is. It just matters sort of like where you are as a person. The disparity shouldn't be so much, And I actually took notes, and I think I have it in my email account or whatever, or something like that. Because I think I sent it to Chidi after because I said I'll take notes, and but it was really, really awesome. And having that message at the beginning of our relationship also helped, because we were on the same page. We knew what we agreed with, do you understand, or disagreed with. We knew where we're both coming from. If he said something that was so crazy, we would say, that I don't agree, then you would know that, okay, the person doesn't agree. So it was really good for that, and kind of helped us, like, foundationally deciding what we are going to do and why we're going to do the things we're going to do, So definitely same page. That's important.
Oh, that was very eye-opening, Mandy. Thank you so much. If I would just do a quick recap of how Mandy, if you're listening from the start, how Mandy was able to resolve that this was the man she would go with. He checked out on the very important levels. He cared about people, he loved her, and more importantly, he was passionate about God. Plus, when he said that he would want to be a good father, that just totally tied everything together nicely. And the rest was I should say the rest will be unveiled over the course of the next few weeks as we continue to talk with Mandy. Thank you so much, Mandy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
And this is today's edition, or should I say this edition of This Marriage Issue, TMI. Be here for the next one. Until then, I am Olufi Sayome. Check out all the other programs that we have here on Pansheke Radio, and do leave comments. If you would like to share your marriage issue, positive, angry, negative, whatever your story is, and you'd like to share it, please send a mail to contact@panshekeradio.com. See you in the next one.
Hey, excuse me, young lady, let me tell you something.
Why shouting?
Hello, I'm talking to you.
What?
Okay, no problem. No, just be going, it's okay.
Wait now.
Hey. Single, I've been searching. I want to mingle. Me ò tí marry.
Single, I've been searching. You want to mingle? Kò lè marry. All because of all because of Oga, well done. All the way from Chevron. You come make better cause you say you want better connection. Now so, okay, so that's your sister Uche. And you say you're from Gombe, Bado at 15, I go there. So say, now go there. Now go there, all because of
You said get to a holla. If I talk one thing, you go para. One more try, I go tire. I'm a shaman, Americana. Just got back from Atlanta. Small toasting, you dey holla. You dey bad person with saliva. Haba, mama, me I ready to spend it with rubber. So much green, I'm a farmer. Come and harvest the cassava. Tibama told you a dada. Say you go reduce the drama. Say you no go leave me for yawa. Say you go meet my mama.
All because of all because of
single, I've been searching. I want to mingle. You know, see Mandy. Okay. Since when?
You want to mingle.
Come again. Fast bag and beating by the way. Get it. Oh shit. Yeah.
Why be ordinary when you can be flamboyant? One Checker Radio. Be flamboyant.